Hi everyone, it's the third time I try to film this and I always get them twisted. So let's see how we end today. I decided to start November reading a favorite of the English booktube community, which is Iluminae by J. Kirchhoff and Amy Kaufman. I know that this book was very famous like a year ago or something, and I always wanted to read it. And last year in May, in our book fair that I did a book haul for, I decided to pick it up when I realized that it was published in Spanish by the Spanish publisher Alfaguara, which is one of the most important publisher companies in the country. So I picked it up and I was amazed by the format and the way it was all laid out. Because in case you don't know it, and in case you are new to the Iluminae wagon as I am, Iluminae tells the story of Ezra and Kate. These two people are actually very famous hackers, and they were in high school, in the last year of high school, in their planet, where there was a company taking out like some kind of mineral out of the earth, and they were a couple. I say they were a couple, Ezra and Kate, because they broke up at the very beginning of the book, just in time when another company, which is like the competitor of this company that is establishing the planet, decided to attack with a battleship, with a spaceship made for war, attack the whole planet. So they have to run away, and they took off. They decided to run away to the ships, and most of the population goes in three ships out of out and into the space, and they have to run away to a safe port basically, while the battleship from the other company is still looking for them and pursuing them. The problem is that when they arrive to the ship and everything looks good, they are safe, they are no longer in a battlefield, things get a little bit messy because there are tiny things that don't work in the spaceships they literally run away with. And I think that's all I can say. I have to say that this story was interesting, although I have a little bit of trouble with it at the beginning. I find it interesting. I see why it's so important or so famous within the YA community. I really love the format, and I really love some subplots of it. So I give it 3 stars. I think it was very well done. I think it was interesting. It has some flaws, but I really enjoy it. I will look at it more in depth in my review, which will be up, I hope, next week, right before Christmas. The second book I read, it was a Spanish author in this case, and I want to comment it because I think if you have maybe a kind of level of Spanish, you can read it without any inconvenience. The book itself, and I will post the cover at some point, as I did with Iluminae, is Nadie al otro lado by Jordi Sierra y Fabra. Nadie al otro lado tells the story of Elena, who is a normal, kind of ordinary girl that lives an ordinary life until she meets Gabriel, who is, a very introvert boy, and he comes to her one day and tells her that the world is about to end. The world as we know it is about to end, and he wants to save her. And he takes her to his refuge, which is like a little bit anti-nuclear kind of space. And there's an explosion, but they end up inside this refuge, so nothing wrong happens to them. The problem is that, as Gabriel says, he scanning the earth with his computer, he finds that the earth is not in good conditions to go outside again. So they end up living, the two of them, that they are basically strangers. They ended up living in this confined space until the world can be restored again. But maybe that's not the whole truth. And I think this story, as probably most of Jordi's stories, this author always treats very subtle, I have to say. He treats common topics that are predominant in YA, in young adult lives, in teenagers' lives, and he did, and I think this story can be sorted as one of them. He did recently kind of a cycle regarding personal relationships, relationship between teens, and which kind of relationship are okay and which kind of relationship are quite toxic. So in this book you can actually see how he de- develops a relationship and how he criticizes some elements of them, but in a very subtle way, so it doesn't seem as too moral. So you can read it and enjoy the story, and then you see some bits that you have to stop yourself and thinking, hold on, what is this? What is going on here? I have to say that it has one of the biggest plot twists, that I have read this year, and I really like it. It's very short. It's a very short book, and I think that you can read it, as I said before, if you have an intermediate level of Spanish. And also, I find the cover very, very gorgeous. I will post it again so you can watch it. I do believe that the publishing company, which is called SM or SM if we have to translate it literally into English, did an amazing job with the cover. So literally I just clap and bow myself at the person who designed it. I think it's beautiful, a beautiful cover. I will leave it here so you can see it, as I said. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're ready for a beautiful Christmas. And I hope you stay and watch the next videos because are going to be reviews. Before I go, I only want to remind you that you can follow me on Twitter, on my Facebook page, on my Instagram account. Also, you can follow me on Goodreads if you want to see what I'm reading. And, well, I leave you as well my Amazon wishlist just in case you want to see what I'm looking for at the moment. Goodbye!